Well, we're keeping our eye on the tropics right now, and boy, it's a busy time at the end of hurricane season right for us. During this storm and others, you can stay informed, prepared, and connected by downloading the 10 Tampa Bay Plus streaming app. But right now, we're going to check in with Natalie.
Yeah, we are just really miles per hour away from looking at a hurricane, Nicole. Still tropical storm status, but the latest information just coming in from the National Hurricane Center as of 10 o'clock tonight. Now giving us a storm with 70-mile-per-hour winds. The moment you get to 74, that's it. We're talking about a Cat 1 hurricane, and that is forecast to happen by tomorrow afternoon. Right now, Nicole continues to move to the west-southwest about 10 miles per hour. It's actually taking aim towards the northwestern portions of the Bahamas overnight into tomorrow morning, continuing to push all that energy and all that convection our direction, especially towards the eastern portions of Florida by late tomorrow evening. Early Thursday morning. And the forward momentum, the speed has actually been kind of speeding up just a little bit with the latest forecast models. Some of them actually pushing it a little further towards central Florida as we get closer to Thursday morning. So that forward momentum, that speed could actually mean that some spots in our inland locations, saying maybe Polk County, Highlands, could actually be dealing with a bit of a stronger end tropical storm once this does make its way across the state, continuing to take that northerly turn by Thursday night towards the Panhandle, towards really northern Florida, I should say, by early Friday morning, and then trailing its way up the eastern seaboard over the weekend. Those models staying in agreement when all is said and done, but this could actually make landfall as far north as Cape Canaveral, as far south as West Palm Beach. That is where that cone actually forecasts the center potentially falling. But those impacts, I mean, we're talking about tropical storm force winds being expected and felt easily 380 miles from the center of the system. So this is a very large system, a large swath of energy that will be sweeping across the western portions of the Atlantic towards the eastern coastline. And that's why there's, of course, hurricane warnings remaining in effect along up and down the east coast of Florida. When it comes to the immediate Tampa Bay area, we do have tropical storm warnings still in effect for Polk County, Hardee, and Highlands until further notice. This is due to the fact that tropical storm force conditions can be expected in those areas. A watch all up and down along the west coast of Florida, including much of the immediate bay. In that yellow there, those are tropical storm watches that remain in effect due to the fact that some conditions are favorable. They will be possible, especially as Nicole continues to trail its way through the central portions of the Sunshine State over the next couple of days. Really, as we get closer to tomorrow night into early Thursday, that is where we'll start to see some of those impacts being felt as early, I should say, as tomorrow evening. But I really think it's going to be overnight going into early Thursday. And the probability that the Tampa Bay area could actually receive those tropical storm force winds, which is 40 miles per hour or more, is actually at 54%. You can see it's really the inland spots in the eastern half of the state that have that higher probability. And we're talking about even sustained wind speeds lasting that long. You can just see how wide of a swath that tropical storm force wind will be felt across much of the state. Again, the 40 miles per hour in that yellow. Once you start to see this little orange right here around the closer to the center there and to the north of the center, that is going to be a strong tropical storm status, strong tropical storm force winds that will be possible. And of course, hurricane force will be as close to the center as possible. And that likely will be where it makes landfall. That will feel those effects. Here at home, I think it's going to be mainly those tropical storm force winds. So let's take you through one of the models. As far as those winds are concerned, there you go, all up and down along the east coast. Sustained wind speeds exceeding 40 miles per hour, maybe even 45 easily, with gusts getting closer to near 60 miles per hour. But let's talk about central portions of Polk County all the way through Highlands and then back out towards Tampa Bay. I think sustained wind speeds are going to be ranging anywhere between 25 to 30 miles per hour. At times, gusts getting close to 30 to 40 miles per hour. And you'll notice those winds really increasing through tomorrow night, overnight into Thursday morning. The bulk of that energy does start to pull up to the north and to the northwest through Thursday night going into Friday, which means conditions actually improve through the first half of Friday. But I also want to bring your attention to that shift in winds, because over the next couple of days, especially through tomorrow and into early Thursday, we're actually going to notice some parts of the west coast dealing with a negative surge that actually could pull some water out of the Tampa Bay area and even away from the coastline. By Thursday, though, Thursday night into Friday, we do start to push that water back up towards the coast, and that is why there are storm surge watches in effect up and down along the Nature Coast, including the coastal portions of Citrus, Hernando, and even Pasco. And when we're talking about storm surge pushing back against the water, rather back against the coast on the other side of this storm as it pulls away, we could be seeing anywhere between 1 to 3 feet, possibly up to 2 to 4 feet out towards the Nature Coast.